friends, welcome to another episode of the Cozy Cottage Crochet podcast. My name is Hannah. This is Nova, and this is a podcast all about crochet, a little bit of knitting, sometimes sewing, and generally living the yarniest life possible in St. Petersburg, Florida, where I live. How are you? Happy Thanksgiving. Can you say Happy Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving. Can you say Happy Halloween?
Happy Halloween.
Who's on your shirt?
Snoopy.
Snoopy. And what's in your hand?
Halloween.
A Halloween what?
Ghost.
Ghost? A Halloween flashlight? What did you do on Halloween, Nova?
Freedom.
You went trick-or-treating? And what did you get? What did you get when you went trick-or-treating?
Yeah!
What did you get? What did you get?
One pop. Two lollipops.
Two lollipops?
Brown, blue.
A brown and a blue one?
Bit.
You bit the lollipop? Was it yummy? So yummy. Do you like candy now?
Like candy now?
Yeah. And what are we going to do next week? Next week is Thanksgiving.
Whoa.
We're going to see Cousin Aurora. And who else?
Uncle Sarah.
Uncle David and Aunt Sarah?
Yeah.
Yeah. And where are we going to go?
Cocoa Beach.
Cocoa Beach.
Cocoa Beach.
That's right. Do you have anything else you want to tell the people? Tell your friends? You not sure? You just want to eat your flashlight?
No.
Numb? Is it yummy? No, but I got to tell them where to find me. You can find me as the Cozy Cottage Crochet on Instagram and Facebook. You can find Nova on the Cozy Cottage Crochet Instagram. Usually in stories is where I post pictures of her. And she has left the building. She's now running in circles over there.
Wow.
She just knocked everything off of the table and said, wow. I don't know what I was saying, but if you have anything about the podcast specifically that you would like to tell me, please email me at thecozycottagecrochet@gmail.com. That is the best way to ensure I see your message. And we do have a make-along running right now. It is the gift-along for the gift cowl that I don't have with me.
Turn it on.
Turn it on.
Matt.
Can you say,
Please.
please? That's right. The flashlight is on. The gift cowl, which I will show you when I come back in a minute.
On it.
It's on. You want to show everyone your flashlight? Is it on? Oh, it's on. And what's this?
Spider.
A spider.
No touch.
It's
spiders.
running. No touch spiders. Yuck. It is going until November 30th, so you have opportunity to enter until November 30th using that hashtag as well as posting your pictures in the Ravelry group, which is all linked directly down below. You can use those links, and it's going to be really exciting. There's going to be prizes, and the pattern is only $2. It's only $2. Get yourself a $2 pattern. Every time you make one gift cowl, it is one entry into the cowl. And that is all the announcements I have. We have so much to talk about. But first, this baby is going to the babysitter. And then I will come back through the magic of internet editing and show you all the things I've been working on. I'm actually recording a day early. This is Wednesday, November 16th, question mark? I think it's November 16th. And I am recording today because tomorrow I am going to be in Orlando all day. Seeing Kalisha of the Quirky Monday Craftcast. Kalisha, I don't think I've seen you since before COVID. I miss you. And seeing Lori of the Lori Lulu Crochet Podcast, who I've never met in person, but who is a very lovely person and friend. And now we are reading a Sesame Street cookbook.
No.
We're not reading a Sesame Street cookbook? I don't think that's true. You're reading it? You want to come up here to read it?
Here.
Up here? What do you see? Who's that?
Ernie, Bert.
Ernie and Bert?
Ernie.
Who's that?
Over.
Grover.
Bye
Can you say bye-bye, Nova?
bye.
Can you say see you later?
See you later.
Can you say happy Thanksgiving?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Okay, and one more. This is my favorite thing she currently says. Can you say hippopotamus?
Happy pause.
I hope that brought a smile to your face, and I shall be back in a moment.
Happy pause.
Welcome back, friends. And by welcome back, I'm saying that to me because you have not gone anywhere. But I have had a half an hour break where I put a pork roast in the crock pot and I took the baby to the babysitter and I did a little bit of cleaning and gathering of all of the things that we need to talk about. So I hope that you enjoyed Nova being on the beginning of this podcast episode and all of her ridiculous words. She's just saying the most hilarious things. And I know it's been a little bit since she's been on the podcast, and I try very hard to make sure that she is in a good mood and that she actually wants to participate before I bring her on, because I want this to be a good experience for her. And maybe when she starts crafting, whatever that looks like, she'll have something to share. But I never want to force her to do the podcast. And she was just so excited to do it this morning when we were on our walk. She was going, podcast. And I said, yes, baby, we're going to do it. So I hope that you enjoyed that and it brought a smile to your face. I have some very exciting news before we jump into the yarny content. I have a sponsor for this podcast episode. And if you have been around a while, you will know who it is, I'm sure, because I have worked with this company. I want to say this is the 4th year in a row. It has been a long time that we've had a relationship with they sponsor 1 or possibly 2 episodes at the end of each year. That coincides with either a Black Friday sale or Christmas sale for them. And I am very picky about the products that I will talk about on this channel. And sometimes people contact me and they want to send me stuff that has nothing to do with anything. Like one time, someone asked me to review some cookware. And I was like, no, this is not what I'm about. But this company, when they reached out 4 years ago, I grilled them via email first. And I was like, I need to know that there's like women in leadership positions in your company. I need to know about sustainability. And they answered all of those really, really well. And the company is Ana Luisa Jewelry. And I have many of their pieces and I wear it constantly. In fact, I took off some of their pieces this morning to put on the new ones that they sent me. And as I said, I will always give you my completely honest opinion. I'm never going to represent a product to you that I don't personally like. This ring they sent to me 2 years ago and I wear it all the time, literally all the time. It's always on my hands. I wear their earrings constantly. I have a necklace from them that I wear a lot, and I've given their jewelry as gifts. One of the things that I like the most about them is one of the questions that I asked at the very beginning is I need to know that like this is some kind of sustainable company, because I'm really like gold mining there's so many problems with that. And they only use recycled gold. And in the last year, they have become carbon neutral. So like the packaging is cardboard. And you can even say, right here, this is made from 100% recycled paper. And it says they're carbon neutral right on the inside of the box. So there is no plastic in this packaging at all. The jewelry comes in these little pouches that are made out of cloth, and then they have a little cardboard insert on the inside. And I just really appreciate that, because I think part of slow fashion, part of what we do as makers is make things that we want to be heirloom pieces. Like my granny stripe cardigan that I'm wearing, like I want this to be an heirloom piece for years and years and years, and maybe be passed on to my children. I don't need a bunch of plastic for that, right? So I just really appreciate that they use recycled gold and that they are carbon neutral. The other thing I really appreciate, and this is not something they want me to tell you, or have asked me to tell you, but it's just important to me personally, I have super sensitive skin. And any kind of jewelry that is not gold or silver or stainless steel will cause my skin to turn green, and earrings will like make my ear turn red and it will start hurting really badly. And I wear their jewelry constantly. I have no problems at all with that. So I either have their silver or their gold plated or gold jewelry, and my skin loves it. They have given me a coupon code that is the best discount they've ever given me to share with you. So if you're going to use it, if you're going to buy from Ana Luisa Jewelry, I highly recommend, first of all, but also use the link below so that they can track that you've clicked it, and also use this coupon code that I will put in the drop down. It'll be the first thing in the drop down, and you will get 20% off your order. The most discount they've given me so far has been 10%, so 20% I think is a big jump, and that's pretty fantastic. And I actually made a purchase for someone for Christmas. So I want to show you what they sent me, and then we'll talk about yarn. So both of these are what they sent me this year, and they are so cute. I literally cannot even. They're pizza studs. That is so something I would wear. And then these are mushrooms, and apparently these mushrooms glow in the dark. I have not tested that theory yet, and I can't because I'm on a podcast right now. There's like blinding light hitting my face. But yes, pizza studs and mushrooms I think are going to be my new favorite thing to wear, especially now that I can start to wear like dangly earrings again. Nova's no longer trying to rip them off of my face. So for a while I was pretty much only wearing studs. And this is the one that I got for a gift for someone who is special to me. It's these little, I don't know if it's gonna focus, these little butterfly studs. They're kind of hard to see, but they're just little crystal butterflies. And then these ones are also little studs. I'm on a little stud earring kick. They're little moons. I know, they're like super hard to see because my camera's not focusing. Let's see if I can make it. Nope. I can't make it focus. Okay, so I have little moons, I have little stars, or little, what am I trying to say? Butterflies that I'm going to give as a gift. And then these pizza studs and mushrooms are staying with me, and I'm just delighted by them. So they have rings, they have necklaces, they have all kinds of stuff, and I just really love their products. As I said, I wear this ring constantly, and the earrings that I took off this morning to put these on to show you came from Ana Luisa. I wear their stuff all the time. Highly recommend. I really like the company. I really like working with them. And I'm really just happy and grateful to them that they would not only consider giving a 20% discount, but also just want to work with me again for the 4th year in a row. Like, that feels great. It feels great to have a relationship like that. So if you need stocking stuffers, if you need gifts, please check them out. I think they're wonderful. Now, I have some finished objects. I have 2 pairs of finished socks. And before you be like, oh my gosh, you've done so much knitting. One of them only had the toe left to do on them the last time I recorded, and one of them had half a foot in the toe. So it's not like it's that much knitting. The first socks are the swamp creature socks. And these I have not woven in the ends. I haven't. But I will do that. I promise I will do that before I get a picture of them. And that because these are made from a sock blank, I only have 2 ends to weave in on each sock. This is the sock blank. It was dyed by yours truly. And I went over to my friend Maria's house and she helped me dye yarn, and this is the sock blank that I dyed. And I am very, I have dubbed these my swamp creature socks because look at those colors. They're just ridiculous. So this is how the sock blank worked up. This was the beginning of the sock blank, worked all the way down, and then this is sock number 2. They're not exactly the same, but you can definitely tell they're from the same item. The way that I worked these socks is I did 64 stitches on 2.25 millimeter ChowGoo 9-inch red lace circular needles. That's how I knit all of my socks. I did 15 rows of 2x2 rib, and then I actually did 20 rows of stockinette on the cuff before I started the heel on these socks. I just wanted to try it and see if I would like a slightly taller heel or if I want to go back to 15 rounds. And then I put in a shadow wrap heel, which is by Denise of Earth Tones Girl. I worked 5.5 inches of stockinette for the foot and did the rounded toe from Mina's. It's either Mina's vanilla sock recipe or Mina's 2 at a time sock recipe. I can't remember which one it is, but either of those patterns will not steer you wrong. So these are the socks. I love them very much. I'm very excited about them. They are ridiculous looking and it makes me very happy. A couple of you were offended that I think this yarn turned out ugly. Please don't be. I do think this yarn is ugly, but I love it. It's like my little ugly duckling socks. It looks like the slime from Ghostbusters. It looks like a swamp creature. I promise you I will wear these and they will get so much love. There is no shame in these socks at all. I just think the colors are ridiculous. And some of you liked this sock blank so much. And I have about half of the sock blank left. So what I'm going to do is actually put this into one of the prizes for the gift along. I still don't have the gift cowl. I left it in my room. Oh well, we're not even gonna look at it. The gift cowl is the pattern I released on my last episode. You can use the coupon code down below in the doobly-doo to get it for $2 until the end of November if you wanna join the cowl. But this will be part of one of the prizes for that. So I want to share the wealth, share the yarn wealth, or share the yarn ridiculousness. The second pair of socks that I have finished is in this yarn. This I am also going to share the wealth on because I have a little more than half of this 100-gram ball left, and this is going to go into the prize for the gift along as well. I just think it would be, you can totally get another pair of socks out of this, especially if you use contrast toes, heels, and cuffs, or you can use it for whatever you want. This yarn came from Eden's Fun Yarn. It is the colorway, this one's Posy, this pink one. This is Springtime. She sent me a sock set after I had surgery. It's 75, 25 merino and nylon, and I made a pair of socks out of this yarn, and they just brought me so much happiness. And I will link to Eden's shop down below as well if you'd like to check out her other yarns. These socks are done. They haven't been washed yet, but they are done, and I have woven in the ends on them, which is more of a feat than on the other socks that I just showed you, because these socks only have 2 ends and these had a billion. Not a billion, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ends, I think. Maybe 8. 8 ends on the entire sock. So that's 16 ends for 2 socks total. And this is what they look like. Aren't they so cheery and happy? And I think that was the whole point. Eden sent me this yarn because I was just feeling really sad about surgery and the miscarriage and everything, and she sent this to me, and it really did brighten up everything in my life to work on these socks. And I'm just really happy that they are off the needles and happy to have spent the time working on them. And I love how they worked up. They're so cheery. I just love them. So that is finished object number 2. Both pairs of socks that I showed you last time are done. I'm going to show you the one, I've started 1 new pair of socks. I'm going to show you them before I show you my last finished object. Put the sock blockers over there because I don't need them anymore. And I just have started a new pair, and I've gotten past the heel. So pretty. Look at all these strings. Let me get all these strings out of the way. So what we have is a mini, this colorway, I have no idea what it's called. It came out of my advent calendar from last year from Sorella Yarn. So I have this blue mini, and then I have this pink, which is Cameo Candy from Lola Bean Yarn. My friend Amanda sent me a skein of the Lola Bean yarn, and I made her a sock head hat out of the yarn, and I had this much yarn left. I did not weigh this, so truly I have no idea how many grams, but I should have enough to get a pair of shorty socks, especially with a contrast toe, heel, and cuff. But you know, I'm playing roulette a little bit. I think it will be totally fine, and I may even have a little bit left over. So this is Lola Bean yarn, and this is Sorella yarn, and I'm just making my normal sock pattern, except I went back to my trusty Fish Lips Kiss heel on this sock, and I just want to see when they're done if I like it. I mean, I like the Fish Lips Kiss heel. It's the only heel I did for ages, and then I switched to the Shadow Wrap heel, so I just kind of wanted to go back to my old faithful. Oh, I just really, really, really love it. It's so soft. This yarn is so soft to work with. So yeah, that is the sock that is currently in my travel mom bag, my big red bag. And when I have a few minutes, I get that sock out and I knit on it. My last finished object is one that it's for a Christmas gift. And I have a bunch of yarn in this llama bag. And the yarn is, this is how much I have left of the first ball. It is Yarn Fair Deluxe Chunky with Bamboo. And It is 80% anti-pill acrylic and 20% bamboo. I've never worked with this yarn before. A lovely viewer of this podcast sent it to me and I saved it in my stash. I just knew that it had to become something someday. And what it has become is a hat. I knit this hat on the Luca needles that I showed you in the last episode. I'm not ready to do a review on the Luca needles yet. I want to knit significantly more before I do that. But I used the 5.5 millimeter needles and the 6 millimeter needles to knit this hat. And this hat actually got frogged twice because it's a bulky, like a chunky yarn, but it's not chunky enough to be chunky, if you know what I mean. So like if you're making a hat and you want to do like 40 or 50 stitches for a chunky yarn, it's not that chunky. It's too small. So I first cast on, I love to use the classic cuffed hat pattern by Pearl Soho. It's a free pattern on their website, and I've made tons of worsted weight hats using that pattern. I looked at that, and the smallest size in that pattern had 72 stitches. So I was like, okay, let me just cast the smallest size on, because this is like not really a worsted, but it's not really a chunky either. And I cast on 72 stitches. I knit for about an inch of the ribbing, and I was like, this is way too big, way too big. So I ripped it out. And then I guesstimated based on my ribbing gauge, and I was like, oh, let me try 56 stitches. And that was too small. But that I knit all of the ribbing and like an inch of stockinette until I put it on my head, and I was like, no, that's too small. So I ripped that out, and then I cast on 64 stitches, and that was perfect. So just a fun fact, if you're trying to knit a hat out of Yarn Fair Deluxe Chunky with Bamboo, 64 stitches is the way to go. So I did 4 inches of 2x2 ribbing, and then I just knit stockinette until the whole hat measured 9 3/4 inches, and then I followed the decreases on the Pearl Soho pattern. And if you look on my Ravelry page, I actually copied and pasted the Pearl Soho instructions for the decreases on there. So this is the hat. You can fold it over. It's like a little bit slouchy. You could fold it over to make it fitted. This is a gift for someone for Christmas who lives near me. And actually, I'm going to make 2 of these. So I knit this hat entirely on the Luca needles, 5.5 millimeters for the cuff, 6 millimeters for the hat body, and then I did magic loop for the top of it. I am making another one because I had 2 balls of these yarn, and I'm making 1 hat for each person who is part of this married couple. And so this one I'm actually knitting on Chow Goose to compare it, and I have actually just finished the ribbing. These work up so fast. Chunky yarn, y'all. So I wanted to compare the Chow Goose needles and the Luca needles, and what better way to compare than by actually knitting the same exact thing. So I want to show you. This is a direct side-by-side comparison of the needles. The Luca ones are shorter, even though they both say they're 5 inches, which I found interesting. The Chow Goose ones are much longer and pointier, as you can see. The reason I want to test these needles out, and I will be knitting other things with them, like putting them through their paces, is because wooden needles have been said to help people with hand and arm problems. I have hand and arm problems, so I want to compare to my Chow Goose. What I will say about the Chow Goose needles is they are a lot faster. The stitches just glide like nobody's business. And I'm pretty loyal to my Chow Goose. They're pretty much the only knitting needle that I use so far until I'm trying these Luca needles. And what I found really interesting actually is that my hands did not hurt as much using the Luca needles because the stitches are very stable on these wooden needles. The stitches, they glide perfectly fine, but they're much more stable on the stitch than they are on a metal needle, so I'm not gripping them as tightly. But my arm hurt more because I'm having to actually use more power to move the stitches. So it was really interesting that like the Chow Goose needles make my hands hurt more, but my arm hurt less. And the Luca needles make my hands hurt less, but my arm hurt more. So that is my observation so far. I really did find them delightful to work with. And it was pretty nice to just be able to like set them down and not worry about my stitches falling off like I am with my Chow Goose needles. So that's my just comment so far. I need to change to a 6 millimeter needle on this one so that I can start working the stockinette on this hat. But I have 1 finished hat already, and that is a Christmas present. And I'm very happy with that because everything is so expensive. So it's good to be able to make some gifts. And then when those hats are done, I also pulled out a Red Heart with Love chunky yarn, and I'm gonna make a hat out of that as well. This is 141 grams. And this one I wanna say is 100 grams. Is it 100 grams? It does not say. It truly doesn't say. Oh yeah, it does, 100 grams. So I'm wondering if I could maybe get, if I just split this in half, if I could get 2 hats out of this ball. I don't know. But when that is done, I will have had 3 balls of yarn out of my stash. So that will be really exciting. So that's my finished object and a work in progress that is a knitted hat. And I have only been talking about knitting so far. We must talk about crochet, mustn't we? I have 1, 2, 3, 4 crochet projects and 1 more knitting project. I'm gonna start with the crochet project that is gotten the least amount of love. In fact, I am not even sure if I touched this. I didn't move my stitch marker. Does this look any bigger than when you saw it last time? I think I touched this. This is a shawl design that I'm working on called the Alina shawl, and it is a like mesh lace and solid stripe pattern. I'm using Malabrigo lace in the colorway Wales Road, which is 100% merino yarn. I truly don't know if I actually worked on that or not. So we're just gonna put that back in the bag and move on quietly and pretend that that didn't happen. I have no recollection of working on it, which means I probably didn't. What I'm going to show you next is my Neverland top, which is a pattern by Nomad Stitches. I have done something on this. Oh, it's not finished. Don't get excited. So this is the top. It's got one part that has a scoop neck, one part that has a V-neck. It has this lace down at the bottom. And as we discussed at length in the last couple of episodes, I ran out of yarn, or knew that I would run out of yarn before the sleeves were finished. So I started looking for other options, and someone suggested to me that I find a satin or something that I could make a sleeve out of. I, after a lot of internet searching and several false starts, did manage to draft a flutter sleeve for this pattern. This one is completed. It is sewed in, as you can see. It's like a big semicircle of yarn and then like less yarn, a big semicircle of fabric, less underneath. So what I did is I actually machine stitched this into the sleeve, and I did an okay job. There is a part right here where you can't really tell because it's a flutter sleeve, but it like folds over on itself and wrinkles right there, and that should not be like that. But as I said, because it's a flutter sleeve, it's meant to like hang like this. You can't really tell. And then I did kind of like a hem all around the sleeve that, as you can see, is fairly wonky in some places. In some places it looks really nice, but in most places it's a little bit wonky. The other sleeve I also sewed in, and where I stalled out is on the hem of this circular part because my bobbin ran out of thread right about here. You can see that unfinished edge, and I got really mad at it and I quit working on it. So, but it is on the way to being finished. I still have tons of ends to weave in. I am going to try and put it on because nothing should come unraveled, and just show you what it looks. It looks a little bit ridiculous over my shirt, doesn't it? Let me fix this. Okay. So this is kind of a crop top length. So you can imagine this without my pink shirt on underneath. I would be wearing like a black tank top underneath of this with just like a spaghetti strap here. So all of this would be my skin, like this part. I don't know if I'm going to wear it with the V in front because the V is like here, which is a little lower than I would like. Although if I wear a tank top under it, then maybe who cares? And so this is what the sleeves look like. This is the sleeve that's finished. It is quite fluttery. Like if I were ever to do this again, I think I would want a little less flutter, but I do think it hangs really nicely. And this is like it's almost like a corduroy velvet. I don't know how well you can see that, but hopefully pretty well. And then this is the one that's not finished. It's just hanging there. So let me stand up. This is a crop top. So if I tuck my shirt in, my belly button is right here, and that is where this comes to. I'm planning on wearing this with either like a skirt that comes up to here or like high-waisted pants that come up to here. So it should be okay. And then, see if I can get the back in the picture for you. This is the back. I know it's a terrible view, but you can wear this front or back. So, I mean, I'm actually really happy with it. I think it's really nice. So thank you so much for the idea to use fabric, even though my sewing is a little ridiculous. It's pretty ridiculous, my sewing on this. But because of the color, because of the pattern, I don't think anyone's gonna be able to tell. Like truly, no one's gonna be able to tell. So all I need to do, honestly, is rethread the bobbin, rethread the sewing machine, finish this one part of the sleeve, and then weave in my ends and wash it, and it'll be done. And I can actually wear it. So what a great suggestion. I'm really happy with it, even though I got mad at it. Even though I got mad at it and like put my sewing machine away in a huff. I'm thinking, because I had bought this yarn to try to match to this, and it's like a wildly different color. I bought this off of a D-stash for someone. And I'm thinking that I may actually use this as a giveaway prize as well. But not until my garment is finished. Because I have to make sure, like I need to wash it, block it, finish that sleeve, do all the things so that I can make sure I'm not gonna try and rip that out. But I don't think I will. I think it looks pretty good. The next project I have to show you is a cardigan, and you are going to be amazed at how much progress I have gotten on this. This is the main thing I have been working on. I have been dedicating my life to this. I really wanted the body of this to be done, but it just couldn't happen. I have 3 more body rows before I start the border of the bottom. So pretty exciting. It is my obsidian cardigan. It is a pattern that I have started years ago, and I am reworking. I've regraded it so it will finally fit. And I'm making it out of Cascade 220 Superwash, which only comes in 50 gram balls, which I find irritating. But it is the colorway black, I assume. Colorway 28. I assume that's just black. You get 219 yards for 50 grams. And I did complain at length last time about finding knots in these balls, and since I complained, I've used like 3 balls of this yarn and I have not had a knot, so maybe it was just the few balls that I started with. This is how much has been done. So much. And if I turn it this way, where this panda is attached, all of this I have done since the last time I recorded, which is a lot of crochet. One of these rows takes me like 20 minutes. So I'm actually like really close to being done with the body. I have 3 more rows of this pattern before I start 1.5 inches of bottom ribbing. And then I will need to do the collar, which I have to figure out the decreases for right here. This is another problem that I had in the original pattern, and then just do little sleeve cuffs. I cannot tell you how happy I am with this. It is everything I wanted it to be. It hangs perfectly, it drapes perfectly, the gauge is perfect, the yarn is perfect. And my original one was made in Holskarn Super Soft, and that yarn was just a bit too scratchy for me, but also just the drape was not what I wanted, and this is exactly what I was looking for. So you can see right now it is at, well, actually my hip bone's up here. So it is right here. It's like at the beginning of halfway down my butt. So I have about another 2 inches to go on this cardigan. And then when it's blocked, it will be even longer. And because of the way I've constructed it, this front will be a little bit higher than the back. And it's going to kind of like drape open like this. Oh, I love it so much. Oh no, I'm sitting on the yarn that I'm attached to. Okay, I'm sitting on this. Let me wind it back up. So I'm just really happy with it. I'm happy with the armholes. I am happy with, just happy. I'm gonna wear this all the time. This is like so my aesthetic. A boxy open front cardigan. So that is like a huge amount of crochet since the last time I saw you. I need to get to 53 body rows for the size I'm making, and I am at 50. Very, very exciting for me. Let me roll this back up into its sausage. And let me put this guy back on. Yes, so happy. I'm just really, really happy with that. I'm still on track. I really want the sample for that to be done as quickly as possible because I want to get the pattern to testers at the end of December. Lots of work to get that to happen. And when that one is done, then I want to start working on the design with the highlighter yellow yarn from Lilia Made It. So I need to swatch some more for that, but I'm trying to dedicate all of my time to this so that I can just get it out in the world. It needs to go. So another thing that I have done is these little guys, and these may seem like nothing to you, like, oh, little corner to corner squares, like who cares? This is a big deal to me because this one I actually recorded a video tutorial on. Join as you go, crochet squares. Join to any part of the square. So you can join down here, you can join up here, you can join over here, you can join in the middle and do a V. Yeah, you can join anywhere. And I actually recorded a video tutorial on how to do this and a voiceover. Oh my gosh, it was so much work. And then this one is the one that I recorded and took pictures of. That's the wrong side. This is the right side. So I still have to work on the actual written pattern and such, but a really hard part for me that's taken me months to complete is done, and that is the video portion of the tutorial. So I'm very excited about that, and I just want to show you the original prototype of my design, which has been stalled out for months because I'm like, I don't want to keep working on this until I have an actual video tutorial of how to do it, is this. This is my join as you go corner to corner, my first cube. This was the first square I made, and I added 1, 2, 3 more. And my plan with this is to just be able to add at any point on the entire blanket. And then once you've squared it off or rectangled it off, you can just do a really simple border. So I'm just really happy. And it's got a sorting hat sheep stitch marker, which I think is delightful for this kind of project because you're sorting out scraps and minis, which is fabulous. And I really just want to be able to work on this. Now you can see that these are really tiny squares, and that's because I recorded the video. So this only has 3 increase rows. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9 increase rows, I think. So yeah, I just really love it. And I have all of these little scraps of yarn, these little 10-gram minis in here, and some more, honestly. Here's some more 10-gram minis. And I have a whole bag of scraps and minis in my closet where I keep all my yarn. I just want to have this as an ongoing project. So I think what I'm going to do, I don't want to make an entire blanket before this pattern's released because it will never be released, is I want to weave in the ends on this and then just take some pictures of what it looks like and release the pattern like that. It is probably going to be a pattern that costs $1 maybe, and there will be a video tutorial that goes along with it that will be for free on YouTube. So if someone doesn't want the pattern that way, they don't have to purchase it that way. But yeah, I'm really, really excited that these are finally coming to life. Now I just need some time to actually work on the written portion of the pattern. My goal would be to have that out sometime in December for advent calendars. Okay, I have one more project to show you, and it has gotten a fair amount of love as well. And it is my Cozy Classic Raglan, which is a pattern by Jessie May Designs. And I have to be really careful with this because there are multiple balls of yarn, stitch markers, row counters, all attached to this. Let's see. I am currently on ball 4 of yarn. And this is what it looks like. So, let's see if I can turn this around without getting it all tangled. This is where I was last time, this stitch marker. And I have done all of that So, I mean, probably 4 or 5 inches of knitting has been done. 31 rounds is what I can tell you has been done because I've been counting my rounds. So 31 rounds of knitting has been done on the body. I tried this on. I cannot try this on right now because it's on too small of a needle. But I tried this on by putting it on a larger cable yesterday, and it's hitting currently right above my hip bone, and I want it to hit like mid hip. But it does, the pattern does call for 3 inches of ribbing, and I'm just trying to decide if I want 3 inches of ribbing or not. I really don't know. I think I would maybe like a little bit less ribbing. So I'm going to have a think about it. What I'm going to do next is I need to work 31 rows alternating skeins on each of these sleeves. That will get me to the end of the sleeve decreases. And then what I can do is try it on again, see if I need to work straight on the sleeves because I have kind of like short arms. So sometimes when you reach the end of the decreases, a pattern will be like, and then continue straight for so many inches. And I don't always have to do that because my arms are short, but my torso is long. So I need to try it on again for that. And then I will be alternating skeins on the 4th skein till I run out of yarn. The body, I'm thinking maybe I'll work, total, I want the body to be about 4 or 5 inches longer than it is currently. The pattern calls for this to be a crop sweater. I do not want a crop sweater. Like if I'm wearing a sweater, I want it to keep me warm, all of my belly warm. I don't want to be like warm here on my chest and then my belly is cold. So I'm trying to decide because I know this is going to grow a little bit with blocking. If I don't want to work 5 more inches, I want to work maybe 3.5 more inches. So I think once I'm done with the sleeves, I'll try it on again and have another think about it. I will say, as it stands currently, the raglan sleeve part is a little tight in my underarms. I'm thinking that it should grow a little bit with blocking. I'm hoping that it's going to grow a little bit with blocking because I really don't want to like have a sweater that doesn't fit me. But if the sweater for some reason doesn't fit me, I have someone I think I could give it to who is a yarn worthy person. Do I want to give the sweater away? No. But I would not be ripping out this entire sweater. I think it will be fine once it is blocked because my swatch was off and when I blocked it, it was perfect. I think my row gauge may just be a tiny bit off on this sweater and that's why the underarms are not giving me the result that I would feel comfortable with them giving me. I just prefer a looser underarm usually, but we'll see. I'm reserving judgment. I'm not going to have like doom and gloom until this whole sweater is finished. You can see, let's see if I can get this to show up correctly. So this whole top portion was done in alternating 2 skeins of Miss Babs yarn, which was a merino cashmere nylon blend. And then here is where I started fading in. This was Miss Babs and just 100% merino yarn. And then I have a small section that's just going around for like maybe 10 or 12 rows of regular merino yarn. And then I started fading in color 4. And now I'm at the end. So we worked through 3 full balls of yarn pretty much on the body. And we're in the middle of the 4th. So you can see it's kind of fading. It's definitely getting darker towards the bottom. But I think it's really pretty and that the yarns go together really nicely. Let me see if I can find the tag for this because I do want to tell you the yarn content. So Miss Babs yarn was 70% merino, 15% cashmere, 15% silk. That's why it's so shiny. So the first 2 balls were that in the colorway Shining City. The second ball of yarn, do I not have the tag for that? I don't. Oh no, the first and the second ball of yarn were both Miss Babs. The third ball of yarn was Northern Lights from Cozy Colorworks, which was 100% superwash merino in DK. And then the 4th ball is Aya Fibers, also 100% superwash merino DK. I do not believe that I will need a 5th ball of yarn. even making it longer. But if I do, I have this ball of yarn that is back to the Miss Babs Merino Cashmere Silk blend, which is just the most luscious blend of yarn to work with. I love it so much. So much. So yeah, my goal for the next 2 weeks, this project I cannot like take anywhere with me. There's currently only 3 balls of yarn attached, but there's about to be 6 balls of yarn attached to this project. So I can only work on this at home, and I can only work on this when I have time to count my rows, because I have multiple row counters going. This one with the thread is for the sleeves. This one's for the body. Currently my sleeve count is at 0 because I now need to do 31 rows. So I'm going to be doing up to 31 rows on one sleeve while also keeping track of sleeve decreases. And then I'm going to zero out this counter again and do it on the other sleeve. My goal for the next time I record would be to have the sleeves done, or at least all of the decreases done. I think that that's possible, especially because the sleeves are getting smaller and smaller. So that is my last project. And then when that is done, when the Cozy Classic Raglan is done, I will be starting my super bulky Grandpa cardigan by Joji Locatelli that I got that bulky yarn for at Rhinebeck. I need to swatch. My plan is to actually knit that entire cardigan on the Luca needles. I may not be able to do the sleeves on Luca needles because I don't really want to do the sleeves magic loop, but we'll see. Actually, I have to do the sleeves magic loop anyways because I don't have any yarn, or I don't have any needles in a short circular that would be good enough for bulky yarn. I am not sure what needles I'm going to use for that because the pattern calls for super bulky yarn. I only have bulky yarn. So I need to do some gauge swatching and really just figure out what size of the pattern I'm going to make and if there's any modifications I may need to make for this. By this, I mean the armhole depth. I have to also read the pattern and figure out how it is constructed. It may be constructed from the back, like kind of like the long line cardigan that I made. And the collar, the way that it is written in the pattern currently is garter stitch. I may modify that to be ribbing. Look at me, just changing patterns all willy-nilly. And I want to think about what size I want to make because I have seen a lot of projects made in this pattern. And some of them have noted that the pattern has no ease built in. It's supposed to be a tight fitting sweater. And for a bulky sweater for my body, I don't want a ton of ease, but I would like at least like 2 inches, maybe 2 to 4 inches, just because it's going to be big and cozy. So I really need to think about what is going to happen and what size needle I need to use. Like, is it a 10 millimeter needle? Is that what I need to use? I'm just going to have to do some swatching and play around. And because I'm paranoid about running out of yarn, even though I bought an extra little skein. What is happening? This hair, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, you guys. I don't understand why it's sticking straight off my head. I just need to swatch, basically. That's what I'm saying. Then once the Cozy Classic Raglan is done, I'm going to do that. And then I have bumped that one up in the queue because I want to wear it while it's cold. Then I will be starting my Mix and Match cardigan, which is a pattern by Mina Phillips. I've wanted to make it for ages. And Maria, my dear friend Maria, when I dyed that sock blank at her house, she dyed me up a bunch of worsted weight hot pink yarn. And so that cardigan is about to be on the needles as well, probably after Christmas. I'm going to guess that I'm going to start that in January. I don't prefer to have more than one knitted garment on the needles at a time, although I may make an exception since one of them will be bulky and one of them will be a smaller yarn. So we'll see how that goes. But that's my maker plans. As Kalisha would say, I have many, many things coming down the pike. I want to make so many projects. It is a little overwhelming how many projects I want to make. I have yarn picked out for so many things, and if only my fingers could go as fast as my brain. When the obsidian cardigan is done, I will be reinvesting some energy, my designing energy, into that highlighter yellow yarn to make a raglan top-down crochet cardigan design. And then as far as making other people's patterns, I have yarn picked out to make the Fala Larry top, which is a pattern by Clarizabeth of Crochet Cakes. I showed you either in the last podcast episode or the one before that I had swatched with a cotton linen blend yarn, and I just really did not like how that came out. And so I went in my stash. I found a fingering weight yarn, even though this pattern is written for sport weight. And I was like, I can just adjust the numbers. It won't be a big deal. And then I kind of like swatched with it, and I was like, this particular fingering is just too thin. Like I would have to do way too much math to make it work. So I put that back, and I wasn't quite sure if I was going to have enough yarn. And then I found another yarn in my stash that might be fingering, it might be sport. It's like a mill end yarn in a beautiful aquamarine kind of turquoisey color. And I've never known what to do with that yarn because it's not quite enough to make a big cardigan with. So it needs to be a top, but I also can't really design something in it because I don't know what the yarn is. Like I don't even know if it's acrylic or what fiber content it is, but it's really soft and it's really beautiful. And so I think I'm going to turn that yarn into the Follow Larry top. And I maybe do some modifications on that as well. Do you know who I feel like I sound like right now? If you guys watch Ellie from Skein to Your Knits, she's always like, yes, I followed the pattern and then I changed this and this and this. And I guess I'm just more comfortable doing that now. I'm like, I like, so on the Follow Larry top, it has this beautiful like flower lace design here, but the back is solid. I think I may like seriously just make 2 front panels and then adjust the neckline to make it fit. Like I want lace in the back as well, but we'll see. Let's not get carried away. Okay. I did get a little bit of happy mail that I want to show you. And actually Nova got some happy mail. I thought this was the cutest. So first of all, this bag is so cute that it came in, and there was a kiwi card, which is really nice. But I got this package in the mail from Alyssa, who is Anaya's Toy Box Crochet on Instagram and on YouTube. And I sent her this yarn as part of the Get Your Yarn Wishes campaign last year. And she sent it to me as a finished shawl. She made me a shawl and I really love it. It's so light. I just really love it. So thank you, Alyssa. It's gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. I don't know what pattern this is. Let me see if it says in the card. I don't think it says what the pattern is in the card. Alyssa, if you're watching, comment below with what pattern this is because I don't know and I really like it. It's like a little asymmetrical. It's beautiful. It's got a little border. It's just gorgeous. So that was in there. And then also, this was in there. This is a ballerina for Nova, and Nova has a book with a ballerina in it. And when we opened this package, she was like, ballerina! And she has been running around. She likes to hold it by its hair and drag it around the house. This toy has actually been getting a lot of love. It's very like firmly stuffed, which is good for her. And she'll grab it and be like, ballerina, ballerina, with her little head bobble. And Alyssa said that she modeled this after Nova. Can you see Nova with her little pom-pom and her blonde hair? It's just so cute. It's so cute. So thank you. Nova loves it, and I think it's adorable. And then I got a little box from my lovely friend, Emmy. Oh no, it's still in here. There were some animal crackers for Nova that got eaten. There was some chocolate that also got eaten already. So those are missing from this box. This bag, I almost put a sweater's quantity of yarn in, and then I guess I thought that I had done that already, but I guess I must have stopped myself so I could show it to you on the podcast. First, this bag is from her local yarn store, which is Bee Woolen, and it's like a big project bag, big canvas tote project bag, backpack type thing. It's huge. And with all the sweaters and things that I have on the go right now, this is perfect. I'm actually going to put, I am almost positive, my super bulky Gramps. I don't know why I keep saying Gramps, because the Gramps cardigan is by Tin Can Knits. The super bulky Grandpa cardigan, the yarn for that is going to go into here. It is currently squeezed into a bag that is much too small for it. And so having this giant bag is really, really helpful, and it was going to be used immediately. Amy went to the UK and Europe, and she got me something while she was there, which was so unnecessary. And I'm going to, there's a bunch of tea in here, which I'm not all going to pull out and show you. except for one of them looked so yummy. This one, blueberry superfruit, and then this, like Harney and Sons Organic Earl Grey Supreme. Fancy. There was a needle gauge. This is from Stephen and Penelope. She went to Stephen West's yarn store. There's a keychain from Ireland, which I think I'm actually just going to attach to this bag so they can stay together. And then she sent this as well, which was a lovely little bag from Stephen and Penelope, like only sold at their shop, exclusive. It's so cute. This is like a perfect one skein project bag. And what will be going in here is this skein of yarn. This is West Wool Bicycle, which is 90% Falkland Merino, 10% Texel. I don't know what Texel is. Falkland Merino is like this really, really, really soft merino. I've never touched a skein that had it. I just heard that it's really, really soft, and I can confirm, putting this on my neck, it is really soft. It is so nice. And the color is called Fuchsia. 390 yards for 100 grams. This, I believe, is going to become a cowl design. I have like this fleeting image in my head of what I want it to be, and I can't like nail it down enough. So really what it's going to take is some swatch time, I'm quite sure. But it's just so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I love it. Thank you, Emmy. You did not have to buy me a present while you were on vacation, but it makes me really, really, really happy. And that bag will be used immediately. That yarn will become a design at some point. I promise. So yeah, I have been talking for a long time. You'd think at some point I would run out of words, but no. I can just talk and talk and talk. It has been a bit of a crazy 2 weeks. Thankfully, Nova hasn't been sick for the last 2 weeks. Next week is Thanksgiving already. I cannot believe it that it is Thanksgiving already. We are going to be going to Cocoa Beach for a couple of days to see some family. I'm hoping that I'll get some yarn time in. We'll see. I'm going to turn Nova's car seat around this week, and hopefully that will improve her whole car life. And tomorrow, which is Thursday, when I would normally be recording this podcast, I am getting to go to Orlando. I'm going to take Nova to the babysitter in the morning, and then I'm going to leave immediately after that, drive to Orlando, have a couple of hours to myself. Maybe I'll just get a coffee and like be in a coffee shop somewhere. And I am going to then meet up with Lori from the Lori Lulu Crochet podcast, and then hang out with her and her mom. And then I am going to meet up with Kalisha for dinner. Oh, we're all going to meet up together for dinner, and it's just going to be so much fun. And I probably won't be back until like 9 or 10 p.m. tomorrow night, and because it's like a 2.5 hour drive to get to Orlando from here. But I'm just really excited about being able to go and do that. It just feels awesome. So it'll be worth staying up late, I think. And it took us a lot of moving pieces because I had to arrange for an extra day of childcare, and then Josiah's going to pick her up, put her down for a nap, and then my mom will be here when she wakes up from her nap. Thanks, Mom, to be with her for the rest of the night. And then I had to cancel what normally happens on Thursday. So there's just like a lot of moving pieces, but I'm really excited. It should be really, really fun. Yeah. So it's almost Christmas time, y'all. We're going to put up the Christmas tree this weekend. I know people are like, don't do it till after Thanksgiving, but I like to have it done on Thanksgiving. A lot of times Thanksgiving is at our house. It's not this year, but we're going to get back on Sunday, or we're going to get back on Saturday evening. And I want the Christmas tree to already be up. I don't want to have to deal with that after we come back from Cocoa Beach. And I want Nova to be a part of it, which means it's going to go up this Saturday, which is really exciting. Extra days of Christmas cheer. So that's happening. And then it's December. So insane. So I don't know what's going on in your neck of the woods, but this is crazy, okay? So I think I'm going to sign off here and just say Happy Thanksgiving if you're in America and you celebrate it. If you're anywhere else, happy happy week, happy week of winter. And keep crafting, keep making all the things. Join in the gift along. You have until November 30th to put your entry in the gift along. You're just making the gift cowl, which is a pattern you can make in a couple of days, okay? And be kind to yourself. There's a lot of stress going around right now. You know, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of moving pieces, as I said before. So be kind to yourself. Give yourself a break. Don't try to do everything. And carve out those moments to spend time crafting and doing what you love and what fills your heart. Thank you so much to you all for being here. I am so thankful every year for this podcast and for this community that has been created. And I'm extra, extra thankful for all the love from y'all. I really appreciate you. And I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye, friends.